Now, Donald Trump looks like he's going to be the Republican nominee. He picked up 99 delegates so far tonight. Cruz picked up 0. Kasich picked up 5. So he's a steamroller at this point. The Northeast, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that Donald Trump should be the Republican nominee. Now, I want to dispel a notion here, to quote my old friend Marco Rubio. So he has done an amazing job of defying the odds and defying the pundits and all the naysayers in apparently capturing the Republican nomination. I don't want you to mistake that for thinking that he's competent. He's not. And so you can tell it in the management of his campaign. When in Iowa he lost, and they asked him, hey, why didn't you get out the vote and use your ground game? He said, what's a ground game? Okay, enormous, unbelievable, record-breaking incompetence. When he goes to do delegate fights in places like Colorado, Louisiana, he gets routed. He picks up almost no delegates in a convention. Why? I read into the details of it. Because his organization is, in his own words, it's a mess, okay? He can't manage himself out of a box, okay? Out of a plastic bag, out of anything. So his ground troops go in there, such as they are, and they're like, what? What's going on? What are the rules of this convention? Huh? Oh, Ted Cruz got all the delegates. Oh, golly gee, and they go home. He is grotesquely incompetent. So if somehow, because of his marketing skills, and that's the only thing he has, right? But in a presidential election, that's pretty relevant, right? If he were to able to do that and just tear down Hillary Clinton and somehow win the presidency, I will guarantee you this. It would be the most incompetent president we've ever had by a landslide. He would make George W. Bush look competent. He'd make William Harding look like he was a scholar and a gentleman and, and an astute policymaker. Because Donald Trump, he'd just go in there and be like, okay, let's win. Let's win. What does that mean, let's win? Okay, what are we going to do in Syria? No idea. He's never thought about it. In fact, when he asked about foreign policy, he said, oh, once I get into office, I'll figure it out so well, it'll make your head spin. In other words, he's running for president and hasn't figured out anything about foreign policy. And the chickens do come home to roost. I remember I made a prediction on Huffington Post in around 2005, 6 or so, in that ballpark. At that point, George W. Bush had dipped in the ratings. And Tim Russert and every other pundit at the time on television was saying, oh, it's the narrative of a comeback. Yes, he's dipped, but now George Bush is going to come back. And I wrote, based on what? Okay, narrative of a comeback requires a narrative. So what are you basing it on? No, they just like it to go up and down, and that's the game they like to play. And I said, and in one of my usual predictions back then, no, he's never going to make a comeback. Because in order to make a comeback, you have to have the fundamentals to actually carry out that comeback. George Bush doesn't have that. His ratings will not ever go back up. They'll only go down from then on. Now, wait, he had like 3 years left in his term. It was an outrageous prediction. So you know how this story ends. His ratings never went back up because he didn't have it in him. Because that's not who he is. He was a loser through and through, okay? And Trump would make him look like a genius. So if Trump is president, it is going to be a debacle for this country like we've never seen before. He doesn't have it in him to manage anything. He only makes money off of his name, off of the marketing. When he went to manage an actual company, he bankrupted almost every single one of them. He bankrupted 4 different companies. How does he make money now? He doesn't actually run any of the businesses. He charges $20 million or $40 million just to put his name on a building. He doesn't actually build the building. If he did, that company would go bankrupt, right? No, he just charges for his name. That's all he's ever done for success. But when you're president, you actually have to do the hard work of being president. He's not up to it. He can't do it. If Trump wins, we will have a collapse like we've never seen because he is grotesquely incompetent, and the chickens do come home to roost. It's only a matter of time.